used the immigration system as a weapon, reported his own wife, had her removed from the country with 2 suitcases and no warning. He thought that was the end of it. What he forgot was what she did for a living. Chisom was a forensic accountant. She found things. That was her job. And she had already found plenty. Chisom had been married to Emeka for 6 years. She had moved to the US on a spousal visa, built a career at a mid-sized forensic accounting firm, and for most of those 6 years had believed she was in a functional, if imperfect, marriage. Emeka ran an import-export business. Multiple entities, several countries, complex enough that Chisom had never looked closely at the structure. They kept their professional lives separate. Until the year she started finding things she wasn't looking for. Small things first. A vendor name that appeared in 2 different business accounts that should have had no connection. A shell company registered in Delaware with a director she had never heard of. Wire transfers that moved in patterns she recognized from work. Patterns that had a specific name in her industry. She spent 4 months building a picture quietly. At home, after work, she said nothing to Emeka. She was a forensic accountant. She understood that you do not show your hand before the evidence is complete. She made one mistake. She confronted him. She confronted him on a Wednesday evening, laid out what she had found, calmly, professionally, the way she would have presented findings to a client. Emeka listened without interrupting. When she finished, he said nothing. He left the room. He made 3 phone calls she could not hear. And the following morning, he filed a report with US immigration authorities claiming that Chisom's visa documents contained fraudulent information. They did not. He knew they did not. The report was fabricated, detailed, convincing, and filed by a man who had spent years learning how systems work and how to use them. Immigration investigations move quickly when the paperwork is compelling. Within 11 days, Chisom had been interviewed, had her status suspended, and been issued a removal order. She was on a flight to Lagos 17 days after she had sat across from her husband and told him what she knew. She landed with 2 suitcases, her laptop, and every document she had compiled over 4 months, stored in 3 encrypted locations she had set up the morning after their conversation. She had not been entirely unprepared. Back in Lagos, Chisom did 2 things simultaneously. She rebuilt her career, joining a forensic firm within 8 weeks, rising fast because her skills were exceptional and credentials travel. And she continued her investigation from a distance, using legally obtained records, public filings, and information passed carefully by a colleague in the US named Adaura, who had believed her from day one and never stopped. Over 3 years, Chisom mapped Emeka's entire financial network. Shell companies across 4 countries. Tax fraud on a scale that involved multiple US federal statutes. Money laundering through the import-export business she had watched him build. She documented all of it with the precision of someone who had been trained to find exactly this kind of architecture and had spent 3 years with nothing to do but find it thoroughly. She was not doing it for revenge. She was doing it because it was true. And because true things, documented properly, have consequences. In year 3, the US Department of Justice opened a federal investigation into Emeka's business network. They had been working their way toward it from a different angle, a tip from a banking compliance team. What they had was strong. What they were missing was someone who understood the full architecture from the inside. Their investigators sent an email to a forensic accounting firm in Lagos. the lead name on the file they had been building was already familiar to the firm's senior partner. It was Chisholm's file. She had sent them a copy 14 months earlier. Chisholm flew back to the United States on a Tuesday morning in October. Not on a spousal visa, not on anything Emeka had any connection to. On a witness protection agreement and a federal cooperation status that gave her full legal standing, a security detail for the duration, and a per diem that covered a very comfortable hotel 3 blocks from the federal courthouse. Emeka found out she was the witness the night before he was scheduled to testify. His lawyer called her lawyer immediately, looking for negotiation, leverage, anything. Her lawyer called her. She thought about it for approximately 4 seconds. Her response, delivered through counsel, was 2 words: "See you tomorrow." She testified for 2 days. The prosecution described her as the most comprehensive forensic witness they had presented in 11 years of financial crime cases. She walked that jury through 4 countries, 6 shell companies, 9 years of financial architecture, and exactly how it worked, with the calm authority of a woman who had spent 3 years in Lagos doing nothing but preparing for this specific room. Emeka's defense had nothing that touched her. She had built the case. She knew every counter-argument before they made it. Emeka was convicted on all 14 counts. Tax fraud, money laundering, filing false immigration reports. That last charge added specifically because of what he had done to Chisholm, documented and proven as part of the broader pattern of obstruction. He was sentenced to 11 years. The false immigration report he had filed was formally reviewed and expunged from Chisholm's record. The removal order was vacated. 3 years of damage to her legal status, undone in a single court order, 4 pages long, signed on a Thursday afternoon. She was in Lagos by the weekend. She had a flight to catch, things to build. Chisholm's firm opened 18 months after the trial. Forensic accounting, financial investigation, corporate fraud detection. She named it after her mother's maiden name, Okafor Forensics. The name Emeka had asked her to stop using professionally when they married because he felt it undermined the family brand. Her first major client was the Nigerian government agency responsible for investigating the exact category of financial crime Emeka had been convicted of. Her second was a multinational bank referred to her by the Federal Prosecutor's Office in New York. Adora, the colleague who had fed her information carefully from the US for 3 years, is now her partner. They run the firm together across 2 offices. Emeka is in a federal correctional facility in Ohio. He has 11 years to think about the Wednesday evening he chose to use immigration as a weapon against a forensic accountant who had already documented everything. He removed her from the country. He could not remove what she knew. He could not remove what she had saved. And he could not remove the version of herself she had always been. The one who found things, documented them, and waited for the right room to present them. Some people learn too late that loyalty isn't just a word. And Karma keeps excellent records. But then, so did she. This has been Saved Code. I'll see you tomorrow.